other electronic equipment. We would also like to remind you that there are to be no flash photography during the performance. Videotaping without the express permission of the director and/or publishing company is strictly prohibited. There is no food or drink permitted at any time in the auditorium. As a courtesy to other patrons, please refrain from using personal conversations and/or texting during the performance. If you must leave during the performance, please exit quietly so other patrons' enjoyment is not disturbed. A final friendly reminder, there will be 2 10-minute intermissions, other than the 21, sorry. Now we invite you to hone your investigative skills as Central Theater Association answers the question, but why Bump Off Barnaby?
Now what's stuck in your craw?
That is no way to address a butler.
Well, that's no way to stare at a hard-working maid.
Magnolia, haven't you finished yet? They'll be here at any moment.
I'm sorry, Mr. Medkins. I am. This part of the old mansion hasn't been open in so long. There's dust on nearly everything, even in the drawers.
Well, hurry it up, girl. Hurry it up. Mr. Leduc was quite specific for the time his guests were due to arrive. It wouldn't do them much good to have more rosy dust clouds with every step they took.
Well, this old feather...
It just moves the dust to a different place. I do wish the old mansion had a vacuum cleaner.
And where would you plug it in if we had one? We're lucky the master electrified the sculptures in this creepy old place. It could get very tiresome handwriting wax candles.
At least candles don't go out during a thunderstorm. I hate to find myself here during unexpected blackness.
You're not likely to find yourself too much longer if you keep on shirking your duties, Magnolia.
Do you know,
I almost enjoy
getting the sack.
this place.
I had such trouble sleeping last night with all those strange noises.
You're imagining things. There are no strange noises. Perhaps a squeaky floorboard or two, but I never have trouble sleeping.
That's because you're not out, this young girl. Creatures that come creeping through the night almost never bother about butlers.
Magnolia, I do hope you don't act this way in front of the guests.
I won't have to. They'll know. 10 minutes in this dreadful pile of ancient stones, and they'll know. It's in the very walls it is. Kind of cold, queasy feeling that comes within the dampness of the place and penetrates to your very bones.
Here now, what's this? What's all this?
Now you're in for it, girl. Good day, sir.
Oh, never mind the amenities now, Medkins. What's this poor girl been blotting about now?
I do beg your pardon, Mr. Leduc, sir. I'm just not used to working in such a large, spooky place. When the agency...
Spooky? How dare you? Malgate Manor has been in my family for countless generations.
All right, then. Old and spooky. Give me the sack if you like, but it won't alter the facts.
Now see here, young lady. Oh, blast, the guests have arrived. Medkins,
At once, sir.
as for you, young lady, you can thank heavens the guests have arrived so opportunely for you. There's no time to hire a new girl now.
If you could get one. I'll just go see about Joseph's doers.
That's hors d'oeuvres.
Uncle Ulrich, as I live and breathe. You haven't altered in 20 years.
I'm afraid you have the best of me, sir.
It's Barnaby, Uncle, Barnaby Folksy. Have I changed so much then?
Ah, now I recognize you. Of course you were mere lad in school last time I saw you. And you certainly didn't have those mutton chop side whiskers with that mustache back then.
That's true enough, I dare say. Where do you guys go to, eh?
Where indeed, where indeed. Well, it's good having you home again after all those years. How was your trip?
A bit rough halfway over, but otherwise quite pleasant. It was good to be sent a plane ticket. It's not easy being the poorest member of an otherwise wealthy family.
Would you like some sherry, Mr. Leduc, Mr. Folsey?
Ah, splendid idea. The nights are going a bit chilly these days.
And arriving early at Sue, this weather's been dreadful. Thank you, Medkins.
It is getting a bit dim here. Medkins?
At once, sir.
Ah, that's better.
You been eating anything else?
Not at the moment, Medkins. Just keep learning for the arrival of more guests.
As you wish, sir.
Must be wonderful having servants. Just say the word and the thing is done. How has Medkins been with you?
It's almost embarrassing to admit, but I just hired him for the duration of the party. Him and young Snip have made named Magnolia. They both arrived yesterday morning.
Oh, I thought...
You see, my boy, it's the blasted taxes. People can't run mansions like they used to. Can't afford it, don't you see? Servants are hard to find, and good servants nearly impossible. And in either case, they're beastly expensive.
But how do you manage the large place without them?
Oh, I don't normally. I only open up this section of the house for the duration of the party. Normally I restrict myself to a few small rooms in the other wing. Don't need domestic staff or anything that size now, do I?
No, I suppose not. Though I had thought the Ledoux family was absolutely rolling in money.
Afraid not, afraid not. Poach a few £1,000,000 is all, once that's gone. Ah, here's my sister-in-law.
Your late brother's widow. Oh, of course, Lady Barbara Fenwick, is it not?
Orin, aren't you going to introduce me?
Barbara, this is my nephew-in-law, Barnaby Folsey, from the United States.
Pleased to meet you, Mr. Tate.
Falsey, Lady Barbara.
Oh, you mustn't flatter me.
You'll have to excuse my sister-in-law. She's deaf as a post. Hardly ever catches a word of the conversation.
Oh, really? I have many friends there.
Where?
Conversation, of course. How long have you lived there?
Barbara, I didn't say conversation. I said conversation.
Yes, but how long has he lived there?
Oh, ever so long.
What do you mean so long? You mustn't be leaving already.
Barbara, we were just having some sherry. Would you like a glass?
Miss Michael's class. That's it. That's where I remember you from. It was such fun, wasn't it? The lights, the applause.
Barbara, he has nothing to do with your amateur theatrics. This is my only boy's brother. I mean, my only brother's boy. My nephew-in-law's son.
Pleased to meet you, Mr. Lawson. I never did catch your name when we were in acting class together.
Really, Lady Barbara.
It's no use, Barnaby. Once she gets the wrong notion stuck in her head, it's impossible to disabuse her of it. From now on, she'll insist you two men will share in class.
Sherry in a glass? Why, what else would I drink it from?
That's one nice thing about Barbara. Sooner or later, the right message gets across. In a roundabout way, of course. Ah, more guests. Captain.
Miss Rosalind Bond.
Hey, darling! I heard you having a party, just couldn't stay away.
Oh, damn it, blast Russell. This is a family gathering.
But, Orin, my sweet, I mean, I'm practically a member of your family, aren't I? I mean, it's only a matter of time.
Oh, blasted Rosalind. This is my nephew-in-law, Barnaby Folsey, from the United States. Rosalind is, friend.
A former schoolmate.
But dash it all, Barnaby. I'm old enough to be her.
Husband. Here's the most stupid.
Really, Magnolia, must you?
Must I what, sir?
Oh, never mind that. Just go into the hallway and see about taking the guest baggage upstairs.
That sounds great work. I was on as a party maid.
We may have to move the party upstairs.
Miss Cleo Barton. Right.
Oh, I say not the Cleo Barton, the Hollywood movie star.
Oh, really?
Orin and Lady Barbara. It's been simply ages and ages.
Orin, isn't that Cleo Martin?
Why, that's what Madkin said.
What about Medkins' head?
It's been such a long, dreary ride up here. Isn't anyone going to offer us a drink?
You know, I bet it was a long, dreary ride up here. Someone really should offer them a drink.
You'll have to find my sister-in-law.
She's definitely
Magnolia, really?
You told me so yourself.
Hard to get caught in health these days, Mr.
Oh, how stupid of me. Orin, darling, I'd like all of you to meet one of my oldest, closest, and dearest friends, Jeff.
Barnett.
Barnett.
But we just met tonight.
But some friendship seems as if gone on forever, you know. From the moment I saw him, I just knew we had much in common.
But we met at a bar.
Pub, Jeffrey, pub. Mr. Barnett is an American.
Leo, aren't you going to introduce your young man?
See?
That is a post.
Really, Magnolia, I thought I told you to go and see about the guest baggage.
There are 60
Pieces. I
Then make 3 trips.
But I don't even know which rooms they're supposed to be in. Which room is close to Mr. Leduc's?
Rosalind, you brought baggage? You weren't even invited to the house, left alone into the bedroom.
It's only a matter of time.
Some sherry, Miss Barton. Miss Barstow. Mr. Barnett.
Now, pay attention, girl. It's quite simple. Miss Barstow's thing is going to the blue room. Miss Barton's in the green room, and Mr. Folsey's in the gray room.
But how do I know which bags are which?
Say, I have a marvelous idea. Why don't we carry our own bags upstairs? It would simplify things enormously.
That's a marvelous idea.
I say, did you say carry your own things upstairs? That is to say, you brought baggage too?
Really, darling? You can't give the entire weekend without a change of underclothing.
What? Oh, of course not. I was thinking, when you said you had met him in a pub, you just happened to have things with him?
Well, it was more of an in. See, I was at the bar trying to get a room, and we were all booked up, so...
So I told him I knew an absolutely divine place where he could spend the night and it wouldn't cost him a shilling.
Meaning here?
Why, what else, darling? It's not as though you didn't have the space. It's been far too late for him to find lodgings elsewhere. So...
I didn't plan on evicting the gentleman. I was merely taking it unawares that he would have his overnight.
Ooh, more guests. How cozy. Is there enough beds to go around?
I don't know. We may have to double up.
But think of my reputation.
perhaps that's what's decided here.
Perhaps some of us might stay at the inn.
Nonsense. I certainly don't mind sharing a room.
She's probably about the affidavits.
Well, if overcrowding is becoming a problem, Mr. Ledoux...
Oh, Mr. Barnett, I'm sure Cleo was quite serious.
Yes, but as an unexpected guest, if I'm causing any problem...
Don't give Orrin any ideas. I'm going to invite a guest myself.
Was that the doorbell?
I see what you mean. Sooner or later.
She catches up with events.
Miss Barnsdale.
Oh dear, not another bag.
I beg your pardon.
I believe she was afraid to decrease her luggage.
As if I didn't have enough of it to carry up them stairs.
Which reminds me, hadn't you better get started?
Down last.
Come in, Barnesy, come in. You look a bit chilled.
I believe there's a snowflake outside.
Oh, drat! I just had the Bentley waxed and polished. Are you sure?
Well, the sky was filled with absolutely threatening clouds as I strolled up here from the cottage.
The cottage?
Oh, dash it all, I forgot you two hadn't met. Bonzi is retired member of the house staff. She's my granny's door's governess. She uses a small cottage at the foot of the estate.
Orrin, it is considered proper manners for the gentleman to be introduced to the lady first, then the lady to the gentleman.
Oops, sorry. If you hadn't guessed, Barnes is my governess too. This is Jeffrey Barnett.
That's all you're going to tell me about it.
That's all I know.
Cleo picked him up in a pub.
Honestly, Miss Barnsdale, it's not as bad as it sounds.
You mean it's worse?
How delicious.
You mustn't say howdy, even if he is an American.
Why, Lady Barbara, you must be improving. However did you learn his nationality?
He's nasty what?
So much for her improvement.
But really, Rosalind, how did she know the nationality?
Probably a lucky guess. The cut of my clothes or something.
Your pictures really don't do you justice. What pictures?
Ah, I think I've got it. Jeff came in with me and Lady Barbara. Emergency must be another American movie star.
I think Barnsey may be right. There is a storm brewing out there.
Shouldn't we shut the garden doors?
Oh, no need, no need. There's considerable overhang in the house, just above the terrace. There's no threat of any rain getting in here. Besides, good downpour would freshen up the air a bit. All the rooms do tend to get a bit musty.
Orrin, I've never seen this part of the house. Mind if you give me a tour of the premises?
Certainly not now, Rosalind. Perhaps after all the guests have arrived. It wouldn't be good manners for them to these guests.
Never argue the boardsman with Bonzi. Besides, she's quite right. I must be here when all of our guests have arrived so that I can make my announcement.
An announcement, Uncle?
Aha! I thought there might be an ulterior motive for this gathering.
Just how many more guests are you expecting, Mr. Ledoux?
Oh, just one. My granny's door. Then our party will be complete.
Perhaps that's her.
Perhaps that's she.
Oh, come off it, Barnsey. We're not in the classroom now.
Medkins, was that Dora?
Sorry, sir, but it was only the paper boy.
Your paperboy rings the doorbell and hand delivers the paper?
We can Holly toss it from the driveway. It's nearly half a mile down the road.
I wonder what's delaying Dora. It's not like her to be late.
Of course, she does have a long way to come.
Didn't she settle someplace in America?
Dover.
Oh, I could have sworn.
He doesn't mean the White Cliffs. He means the other one.
What other one?
Dover. It's the capital of Delaware.
I say, how did you know that?
Why, the capital of Delaware is hardly secret information, Mr. Ledoux.
I mean that my grandniece settled there.
Why, you just told me.
Oren, darling, stop being so jumpy. It was a perfectly obvious conclusion.
What? Oh, I dare say it was.
How long ago did Dora move to America? It seems ages.
Oh, years and years ago. She was a mere child at the time. I suspect we all seem like complete strangers to her. That is, except Barnesy. Teachers have a way of sticking with the children. The rest of us will undoubtedly seem like strangers.
But Oren, you're forgetting I am a stranger to her, and so is Jeffrey here.
But not Barnaby. Surely she won't have forgotten him.
Why should she particularly remember me?
Surely you remember taking a piggyback riding all over the estate. Children tend to remember such events. She will surely recognize your face right off the bat.
Not if we took a piggyback, Oren, but she should certainly be able to recognize the back of his head.
I beg your pardon, Mr. Ledoux, but I believe it is time to serve dinner.
What? It can't be.
Well, you did say age ready shower.
Well, if we must, we must.
But surely we won't start without Dora.
I don't see why not. If she chooses to arrive late, let her be the one to eat her dinner cold.
Though it pains me to say this, I agree with Cleo.
Better leave those right there, Magnolia. It's time to serve dinner to the guests.
Oh, wait, those are mine. I'll get them myself. Any particular room you want me in, Mr. Ledoux?
I believe the gold room is open for occupancy.
That would be the fourth door on the right at the head of the stairs, sir.
There, those look heavy. Let me give you a hand.
Where were you when I knew her?
Thanks, Barnaby.
That sherry has given me quite the appetite. Is it dinner time yet?
Perhaps we should all write our marks down on idiot cards and show them to the old girl.
Cards? Before dinner? Perhaps afterwards, dear. That is, if you all don't mind playing bridge.
Would somebody kindly take Barbara by the arm and lead her to dinner? I'm not up to explaining things to her in words.
I hope she doesn't think she's getting kidnapped.
No, I've already had my nap, dear.
Come along, my dear.
Well, I suppose I could just walk into dinner unescorted.
Oh, don't be a social fuzzbudget, Barnesy. Come along. Oh, come along, old girl.
What are we having for dinner, Oren?
Oh, the usual fare. Boiled mutton, Yorkshire pudding, and gooseberry trifle.
And they call America the home of the brave.
Yoo-hoo! Anybody home?
Well, hello, Dora.
Jeff, what in the world are you doing here?
Well, I guess I owe you some sort of explanation.
Why, you most certainly do. When we said goodbye at the airport, I most definitely told you were not to interfere in any way with...
Yes, but I was so worried about you, and your great-uncle's cablegram was so mysterious.
Another guest. I didn't hear the door chimes.
Oh, I came in through the garden. It was such a lovely night, I decided to walk across the field to the station.
Lovely night. It's damp and chilly and threatening to rain.
That's what I love about England. You can always rely on the weather.
I don't believe I've had the pleasure.
Oh, English weather is never a pleasure, but it's so typical.
I mean, we haven't met, have we?
Let me do the honors. Barnaby Fulsey, Dora Dunstock.
You know, I used to have a relative by that name. Barnaby Fulsey, of course. Not Dora Dunstock. I'm Dora Dunstock.
Darling, I'm sure Barnaby knows which of you is which.
Dora, how delightful to see you again.
Again?
Yes, darling, Barnaby is that relative of yours.
He can't be. Barnaby was ever so much taller. He used to take me piggyback all over the estate.
Dora, you were 3 years old at the time. Naturally, I was taller then.
How much taller were you? You can't have shrunk.
Darling, let's not pursue the matter.
I say it's the 3rd time you called her that.
Call me what?
Darling.
How dare you? I hardly know you.
Dora, Barnaby was merely quoting me. He wondered why I could call you darling on such short acquaintance.
But we've known one another for years and years.
Yes, I know that, but Barnaby hasn't.
He must. I just told him.
I mean, before that.
Before what?
Care to give me a hand?
I wouldn't touch this conversation with a 10-foot pole.
Why? I don't follow you.
Darling, you just answered your own question.
I beg your... Pardon?
Come now, silly goose. Walking in open fields at night in England.
Would some sherry help you?
Help me what?
Warm up, darling.
I'm trying, can't you see?
Dora, I was merely finishing Barnaby's question, not giving an order.
Dearest, you can't order him to give you a sherry.
Why don't I just get it before we all... Stop. What happened? I was finished.
Oh, Warty, you're so thoughtful.
Wait, what did you call him?
Warty, it's a sort of pet name.
For a toad, perhaps?
But certainly remember why I called you that, Barnaby.
Can't say as I do.
How could you forget? You had 3 little warts right on the back of your right ear. I used to fondle them right and piggyback.
On the back of my... Oh, those! I'd nearly forgotten.
How could you? You said they used to get in the way whenever you combed your hair.
They did. That's why I had them removed. Beastly little things.
What removed? Let me see.
Really, Dora.
Darling, stop pestering the poor man.
But if he's had them removed, whatever shall I call him pets for?
Barnaby would be nice.
Oh, Barnaby always was so nice. Especially to me. I was the only one who got to ride a piggyback.
Well, no one else wanted to.
Oh, I dare say that's true. And they would have looked silly being a dog.
Come now, back to the fire before you catch pneumonia.
And I'll get us that sherry.
So I talked to your uncle, and he believes me to be the short acquaintance of your dearest cousin Cleo.
Well, you should tell him that. Wouldn't want to confuse him.
Well, I guess that's really how you want to do things, but wait a minute. What's this?
What's what?
Your picture, Mr. Barnett, run to the newspaper.
Really? How delightful.
My picture? I don't understand.
Okay. Mr. Jeffrey Barnett, a recent arrival to our shores, recently complains of the London airport. Mr. Barnett has no police report of the Dover, Delaware Gazette, but his sister's report is really here for pleasure, not business. But this is what the lady Barbara meant earlier.
Great Aunt Barbara? Meant about what?
She remarked that Jeff's picture didn't do him justice. We all imagined she'd mistaken him for a motion picture actor or some such. But as you see in this edition of the newspaper.
Wait, how could she? It only just arrived a minute ago and she had no opportunity to see it.
Well, that's true enough, I dare say. And she did say pictures plural, and there's only the one in the paper.
Perhaps she meant the snapshots I sent her last month in our semi-monthly letter.
What snapshots of me?
Of us, darling, on the night of our engagement party.
Oh, I say, congratulations on all of them.
Hardly, Wartsy. Mailing a letter is a minor achievement at best.
I meant the fact that you two plan to be married.
That was supposed to be a secret.
Darling, I didn't tell him.
Well, he can't be psychic.
Why not?
Well, are you?
Well, no.
Then how did he know of our engagement?
Because you just told him.
Jeff, don't be stupid. If I would have told him, I would certainly have invited him to a party, but I didn't, so therefore he ought it.
Audit what?
Know our secret.
The what secret?
That Dora and I are engaged.
There, you did tell him.
But well, she's right.
Darling, why would I tell him something he already knew?
I don't know, why did you?
Well, that is because, well, when he said, or she said, or when he came down the stairs, or just somebody said.
What does it matter? The point is, I do know now, and I should like the toast to soon be brought.
Hold on, what's wrong with the sherry?
It does look a bit odd, doesn't it?
Look, there's a fly on the rim of the glass.
It's taking a sip.
It's falling under the table.
Oh, it's clutching its throat.
It's rolling under its back.
I can't look.
Oh, Jeffrey, darling, hold me.
There. It's all over.
You know, this reminds me of my late father.
Your father had 6 legs.
Sir,
fail to see the resemblance.
When he drank his sherry, he'd take a sip, clutch his throat, fall on his back.
Your father died of drinking sherry.
Indirectly, he used to drink straight from the bottle, and one night he took out the cork.
I see. Your shirt is entirely different colors, Jeff. And yours, Dora.
They look alike to me.
Different from mine, not from each other. Yet how can it be? I poured all three from the same decanter.
You don't suppose somebody or other might have put something into it?
But how? When? We're the only three persons in the room.
And neither of you anywhere near that decanter. I certainly add nothing strenuous to my drink.
Of course not, Barnaby. You wouldn't hurt a fly.
Yep, that fly is most certainly dead.
Then how in the world did it happen?
I don't know, but I think it would be wise if you get your sherry analyzed.
Jeff, where would we get a psychiatrist?
Dora, my love.
Bloody hell.
Jeff!
Dora, right here.
This lights better come back on soon. This house is spooky.
Jeff!
Dora, stop. Well, look, the glass is gone.
How can I look at the glass if it's gone?
But it was right there and nobody was near it.
Oh, never mind that. The fact is someone just tried to poison me just now, and I can't imagine for the life of me why.
Perhaps it has something to do with the tontine.
What tontine?
There's more than one?
I didn't know there was any. Well, to this moment, that is.
And I assure you, neither did I. I mean, isn't that when people pull a lot of money together and survival takes off? Well, I'll be hardly asked to join one. I'm practically penniless.
That's true. Barnaby comes from a long line of famous paupers.
That's why I went to America, to make my fortune.
And?
When I got there, all their fortunes have been made.
Oh, what a pity.
Say that again.
Oh, what a pity.
Darling, just who are these members of the tontine?
Well, great-grandfather Farlow, he's hanging over the fireplace. Set it up just before he died, or before I died, and he went to America. Or was it vice versa? Well, anyway, the members include Uncle Orrin, Aunt Barbara, Cleo Barton, Miss Barnsdale, and myself. Whoever else the others gets some money, and I'm the youngest. Isn't that keen?
Well, darling, I hate to dampen your enthusiasm, but when a survivorship tontine provoke temptation for a poisoner?
He's right, you know. If 4 of the 5 members die, they'll have suspicion. The last one would be sitting quite pretty indeed.
Well, you mean sitting pretty in the electric chair, if you ask me. Suspicion would fall upon the sole remaining survivor after a string of 4 murders.
Except they don't use the electric chair in England anymore. They simply hang people. It's ever so much cheaper.
Darling, haven't I gotten through to you yet? You're in mortal danger.
Nonsense. If what you say is so, why would the killer try to bump off Barnaby?
I mean, that's true, because why would anyone want to murder me? I'm the only person that stands to gain anything out of this, and nothing if I do.
Wait, what do you mean by gain?
Well, with all 5 dead, the money wouldn't matter.
It would certainly matter to me, being one of the 5.
I mean, matter money-wise. With all 5 gone, the money would go back to the estate, which would then go back to the source-finding relative. I say, that sets me thinking. Oh, it's a naturally ridiculous suspicion. Could have proved this poisoned my sherry just now.
Wait, what did you just think of?
I thought, no, wait. I must betray my confidence. Not until I've asked about it.
Well, there's a killer in the midst. Stop trying to ease your conscience and tell us what you know.
Couldn't you tell us without naming names?
That may be all right. And if my suspicion could prove true, I could name the name.
But, just stop trying to ease your conscience. Wait, names? What names?
Well, for starters, some of us in the party are imposters.
3 if you count Jeff. Short acquaintance of Cleo and me. Or were you counting Jeff?
No, not at all. Though that is true, that would be 3.
Wait, just get on with this. Who are these imposters?
I can't tell you. That's the compass I spoke of. Gave my word, old man.
Well, if you ever hope to be an old man, you'll tell us what you know.
Well, I can't say, but... Well, I could... I wouldn't repeat it. Well, all right. The names of 2 imposters are...
Dora?
Jeff?
I'm right here. Look! Barnaby, he's gone!
How can I look at Barnaby if he's gone?
Impossible, mind-boggling. He was just right there.
Maybe he went for a stroll.
Going for a stroll? Dora, in the time that the lights went out, he had been shot through a cannon to make it through those garden doors.
Well, he must have gone someplace because he's certainly not here.
Well, don't you see? This disappearance is impossible. those lights. We'll be talking to Orr in a minute. Yes, you're right here.
Barnaby, you're back!
Oh.
Barnaby, you're back!
Paper.
Of course. Sports are the funnies.
Writing paper.
Yes, of course. It's monogrammed, all right?
They're in blank.
Yes, there should be in the drawers.
Look, he's trying to tell us something.
Ah!
Sorry.
The pen.
I haven't got any.
What a pencil do?
Yes.
I haven't got one.
The desk. There must be a pen and pencil on the desk.
Hurry up.
Bottle B.
A stapler.
Ruler.
Band of rubber band.
Eraser.
Paperweight.
Pencil.
Oh, pencil, quick, give it to me.
Come on, I found it.
Door, really?
If fair is fair.
Don't.
Look, he's finger writing something on the Dutch.
Bar, B-A. The killer's in the bar.
No, just go back here.
There's nobody here.
Perhaps we misunderstood him. Quick, back to Barnaby.
Barnaby, what is the meaning of what
Ah! Would you stop that?
But Barnaby, what did you mean by this?
Name of killer. Too weak to finish it.
The killer must be like someone like Rosalind Barstow. What? I never did trust her.
Wait, but it could be Cleo Barton. No, your nanny, Miss Barnsdale.
Oh, I do hope it's not Aunt Barbara. There's twice as much evidence against her.
Evidence? What evidence?
Barbara has Bar in it twice.
Well, at least we know it's not Mentions or Magnolia.
Of course not.
Who are Medkins and Magnolia?
Oh, that's right, you haven't met them. Maid and Butler that your uncle hired for the party.
Oh, that's right. It can't be him either.
Now, wait a minute. He is a baronet, and that has B-A-R in it, too.
How
Didn't
dare
really
you?
matter.
He's the nicest, kindliest. You should be ashamed of yourself, Jeff Barnett. Your name has a bar in it, too.
But I was right next to you.
Until the lights went out. Then what happened?
Well, I was standing right over here when the lights came back on.
Well, as long as he's still alive, why don't we just ask him?
Yes, of course. Oops. Well, he would have died anyways.
Here now.
What's this?
It's Mr. Bolsey.
He's been split. Oh, look, everyone, it's near the Todora.
Oh, no! No!
It looks like Aura.
Hold on! Stay right where you are. There's been a murder, and I need to know where you've been in the past 5 minutes.
I beg your pardon.
Check the others and I'll write down the questions for her.
All right, it's very important. Please tell me where you've been.
Well, Rosalind and I went for a walk in the garden.
And Magnolia and I were washing dishes that I left over for dinner.
And I was in the wine cellar trying to find an after dinner liqueur.
No, I was in the dining room dawdling over my dinner.
And I always take a nap after dinner.
Well, Dora, what does this all mean?
We missed dinner.
Oh. Now, I don't intend to give any offense, but there has been a ghastly murder committed here, and I would think, both before the police arrive, it would be in the best interest if all of us could do what they can to figure out which one of us is the killer. Well, do you agree? Don't you? I mean, I certainly feel a lot better to figure out which one of you to avoid.
And so would I. Yes, let's find out who killed Barnaby by all means.
What I'd like to know is who murdered Barnaby. Who said that?
Oh, damn it, blast. Between your eyes and Barbara's ears, we'll never get anything cleared up.
Now we might as well go to bed. With a murder on the top?
There are stark locks on all the doors, Magnolia.
What if he's in the room with you when you lock it.
And who says the murderer is a he? It could be a woman, you know.
Nonsense! Barnaby was stabbed, and a lady always uses poison. It's much more polite.
But the first attempt on Barnaby's life was poison.
So that means that there might be two killers in our mess. A poisoner and a stabber. I wish you wouldn't say things like that.
Oh, be calm, Magnolia. Ralston was mistaken. The most we can have in our midst is one actual murderer and one would-be murderer. Don't you see? The dagger worked, but the poison didn't.
If you think you soothe my nerves, you're even dumber than you look.
Magnolia, that's no way to speak about one's employer.
If you could see him, you'd agree with me.
Oh, just let's get back to this point. All right. We know that Barnaby was meant to probably be.
I believe what Mr. Barnett is trying to say is that a time could be much better spent trying to figure out which one of you committed the murder.
Why are you excluding yourself?
Why? But then, like, Mr. Bolsey had to write down before he died. The killer could be anybody but myself, Magnolia, or Miss Notestock.
Oh, that's right. I feel just awful if Jeff felt he had to avoid me.
But hold on, I found that suspicion is much wider than we first imagined.
But how can it be? Dear old Worsley most definitely wrote BAR just before he died, so the killer can only be someone like Miss Barstow.
Oh, Miss Barton.
And what about Barnsley?
Don't forget Olbert is a baronet.
Well, let's not forget Barbara has 2 strikes against her.
Aunt Barbara, it's your turn.
Shouldn't we be trying to figure out who murdered Barnaby?
It's no use, Dora. But in our catalog of suspects, let us not forget Mr. Barnett himself.
You tricked me into bringing him up here to the house.
Who concealed his engagement to Dora?
And she was in love with Barnaby when he died.
But he wasn't alone. Dora was with him.
That's as good as being alone.
Really, Magnolia, mind your manners. But, sir, how exactly do you mean by that nobody in this room is above suspicion? There's no BAR in my or Magnolia's name, so I fail to see how.
But you see, you were the one tending bar, as it were, for the party, and could easily introduce poison into that glass.
Well, I never touched anything near that sideboard, bolt or glass.
But a quick phone call to the agency led to some very interesting information. You see, you were only hired for this party as a maid in order to earn enough money to finish attending law school. In other words, you hope to be a member of the bar.
Aha! We only have their word for it that at the time of the murder, they're both in the kitchen washing the dishes. They're both under suspicion, a man and a woman, who could very easily be the stabber and the poisoner. Naturally, their alibis couldn't be fake.
But so could all of your alibis. I'm afraid, Miss Lurdu, for instance, you say that you and Miss Barstow were taking a stroll after dinner. But really now, in the middle of a thunderstorm? And Miss Barstow claims to be in the wine cellar looking for an after-dinner drink. But we all know she couldn't possibly read those labels. And Cleo claims she dawdled after dinner. But what I gather from the rest of you is she couldn't obey to the boiled mutton, left the table early, saying she was going to her room for a smoke.
But what of Aunt Barbara? She always does take a nap after dinner.
Wait, just when we were going to dinner, she told me she already had her nap.
So you see, there is nobody who is above suspicion.
Oh, Jeff.
Why didn't mean you, dearest?
And why did I not? After all, the only encounter we have with the is with the two of you said. How do you know you two didn't pair up to bump him off and make the whole story up to mislead us?
Because I'm not flesh and blood. And Jeff has not a face.
He has? Let's have a look at it.
What's his looks got to do with anything? Yes, what? We merely suspect him as murder. We never said he was dishonest.
Why is everyone standing up?
Will somebody please tell Lady Bob what's going on?
Who's got a pen and pencil?
Ye gods, we going to sit here all night and write down everything for the old dodo? Or in, I continue. Or, where in the world did he go?
Well, then he's the killer and he's being run for it.
Oh, come now, Magnolia. The old fool could barely walk.
What are
have gone to the garden.
The doors are still shut. We've heard them open.
The kitchen, perhaps. He ran awfully fast, and we have seen him.
He couldn't have, I swear to that.
Well, people don't simply vanish, darling.
Wait, but you're forgetting what happened earlier, before Barnaby was stabbed.
What happened?
He was standing right over there at the edge of the fireplace, and all at once, he was gone. You haven't mentioned that before.
Well, it seemed a rather minor occurrence in the light of what happened afterward.
Yes, a disappearance is nothing compared to a murder.
So it simply slipped my mind. Won't mind.
Really, don't be out.
Why should I be respectful? I was out for a party, and the party's over.
But Jack, Dora, tell us more about the bench just before Barnaby was killed.
Oh, yes, he was. Extremely skilled. He was one of the best ever.
What are you saying?
That Barnaby was skilled. She misunderstood Oldham's fiancé.
Wait, Rosalind, you mean you and Orrin?
Talk about your May December marriages.
Magnolia, call Orrin a December age.
I didn't mean him.
Oh, how dare you! Get rid of me, wicked girl! See what you've done! Insulted the guest! Speaking for you, spoken to, and showing no respect for anybody just because there's a killer on the loose!
Rude girl. Never mind her. I want to find out if you got engaged to Orrin. Well, I'd like to know what Barbara thinks Barnaby was skilled at doing.
And I'd like to figure out which one of us is a cold-blooded killer.
Has anyone seen Orin? Sitting right over here. Will somebody please give Lady Barbara a scorecard before I scream? I scream? That sounds delightful. Who's got some?
Don't do that, Barnaby! Oh, never mind, you old nuthead. What's become of Orrin?
Perhaps that's something to do with the taunting.
Oh, yes, of course.
Who are you calling a muttonhead?
Barbara, of course.
Well, that's all right.
Will the two of you stop bickering before I scream?
Yes, but who's got some?
Please, this bickering is getting us nowhere. There's a killer in our midst, and we gotta figure out what the motive is before one of us gets dispatched.
Yes, Jack's right. Let's put our brains together. Why leave Dora out?
Cleo, stop that. Dora isn't a dunce. She's just broadcasting on an unfamiliar frequency.
Why, thank you, Barnsey.
I think.
The hell you do.
Ladies, there's a murder to be solved, remember?
Jeff's right. Come now, let's pool whatever information we all possess.
Alright, first off, we know Barnaby was stabbed, and probably by somebody in this house.
And why couldn't it be an outsider? A roving lunatic or some such?
Impossible. It's pouring rain outside. There have been all sorts of mud and wet footprints on the floor. Do you agree, Jeffrey?
Absolutely. And the killer must have known somewhat of the layout of this house.
Why do you say that?
Because of the subtle way the poison was introduced into that glass. Who knows? There might be secret panels or such in this old house. How would an outsider know that?
Well, that's that. We can rule the outsider out.
Now wait. What's to prevent a stray madman from creeping into the house, accidentally discovering the panels and...
And what? Madmen aren't selective in their murders, and yet it seems Barnaby was singled out for killing.
Otherwise, the murderer would have put poison in all three glasses. Is that what you mean, Barnsey?
Exactly. But he didn't, so we know Barnaby was the sole intended victim.
But what if the madman simply ran out of poison?
But he used a dagger after that. I mean, he could use that more than once. Do you see?
Then it comes right back to Barnaby. It always comes back to him.
So if we can deduce why he was murdered,
But we can't. That's the whole problem. He had no money. He wasn't a member of the taunting, and it could have been something he knew of any of us because he hasn't been around for years and years.
Odd. Decidedly odd. It's also topsy-turvy.
Wait, what is?
The motive. I mean, it's all backwards. You see, it's the poor relation of our family. Barnaby had an excellent motive for killing all of us, but none of us had the slightest reason for wanting him dead.
Yes, that is true. And all of us is showing ignorance, honest ignorance at best. Yet only one of us is play acting.
He was very good at it, you know.
Who was?
Pay her no mind. Oprah told me during dinner that she'd got some cool notion in her head that she and Barnaby used to...
Used to what, Barnsey?
Miss Barnsdale, please! Pet names on such very short acquaintance are quite rude, young man.
Oh, come on, Barnsey. We're seeking a killer. To have a protocol.
Cleo's right. Barnsey, tell us quickly, what have you thought of?
Well, the fascinating notion that has just popped into my head is that...
Dora?
Yeah.
be in danger upstairs.
Why, Jack, how very macho of you.
I thought I was the woman you loved.
Well, I'm talking about murder.
I'm thinking about murder.
Look, he's back! Go tie him up!
Look at him.
Oh, thank heavens he's alive.
Orin, this is no time to be playing cowboys and Indians.
How did he get back here with his feet tied?
Here,
Perhaps we would have heard him.
let me get his mouth free. Maybe he can tell us.
Sherry! I need a glass of sherry.
Water. Somebody get this man a glass of water.
I said sherry!
Oren, I'm so terrified when you vanished.
Oh, damn it, blast. Look at the sherry myself.
Someone get him some water.
Oh, shut up, Lady Barbara.
Last one saw her much louder than that, Rosalind.
Oh, all of you, be quiet. I want to know where Oren's been.
Yes, Oren, just yes, one moment you were here, the very next you were gone. Where were you?
After he's had his water, let's ask him where he's been.
It was the most extraordinary experience. I was seated there, over in that chair, when all of a sudden, I say, what's become of Barnesy?
We're hoping you can tell us.
She vanished.
Vanished? Barnesy?
Yes, she was standing right in this very spot. Oh dear.
No! Stop! Help! Oren!
Oh, this is terrible. First Barnaby,
Then Uncle Oren.
Then Barnesy.
now dear sweet Cleo.
I hated her.
I did, but I hardly meant that now. It would have given me a motive.
It's my fault. All of it.
Wait, then you do know something, don't you? Quick, tell us before one of us gets disappeared.
Well, you see, the reason I called the family here to Margaret Manor for this gathering was...
Laura, you really need to get your electricity
It's
looked
this
at.
blasted weather.
Oh, stop it, Rosalind.
Barnesy, you're back.
Dora, don't say that. Remember when you said that to Barnaby?
Barnesy, where have you been?
Well, it's the most extraordinary thing, but it's gone. I had it on a nice strong chain and it's gone.
Good heavens, so is mine. I had it right here in my pocket.
I say, isn't that Barnesy? But what's become of Cleo?
Hold on. What's gone?
Why, the pigeon thingies.
Zambu, Oren, Zambu.
Oh, hang your fancy French words, Barnesy. It's a pigeon thingy, and it's gone.
Oren, Barnesy, what are you two babbling about?
Great-grandfather Farley used to keep carrier pigeons.
And?
Isn't it obvious?
Isn't what obvious?
The messages had to go to something, darling. Pigeons don't have pockets.
Wait, are you talking about those tiny little whatsies that are fastened to the creature's leg?
It is called a Zambu, Rosalind.
Or a pigeon thingy.
Dora, that term is slightly ridiculous and totally inappropriate.
It sounds so cute.
Please, let us not bicker about proper wordings. I want to know why these gizmos are so damn important.
Why, they each hold a line of limerick, darling.
What limerick?
Why, the one that Father made up before he died.
Father?
Uncle Oren's father was my great-grandfather, Rosalind. His name was Farlow. He was ever so nice. That's why Oren had him painted and hung.
Wait, hold on. I just want to know the significance of these gizmos.
Zambu!
Barnesy, what's become of your nice little chain with the leg luggage on it?
Oh, shut up, all of you! Not another word! There. That's better. Wait, so let's go back to that limerick you mentioned. Oh, damn it all. I didn't mean I'd be silent forever.
Darling, what's the matter?
I'll tell you what's the matter. There's been a hideous death, several strange disappearances, and now some apparent thefts on some message carriers of vast significance, and we're still in the threats of some unknown killer, and all you people can do is just sit around me and babble.
Babble?
What babble?
It all makes sense to me.
All right, then you explain it.
Which part?
Oh, damn.
Listen, all of you, I'm just as befuddled as Jack, and I've known you all a lot longer. Let's just take this in easy stages.
Oh, there's nothing easy about being on a stage, my dear.
I
remember Miss Michaels always telling the class how very difficult it was to play a role that Mr. Lawson, take the one from Congress.
But then Charlie ever gets anything right.
She believes the two of them used to be on the stage together.
Barnaby and Aunt Barbara? How silly.
Please, we're getting off track entirely. Now, what was all this glad about a limerick or something?
Why, that was the clue to her father had hidden the gold.
Now we're getting somewhere. Wait, what gold?
By our goal, of course. You see, Jeff, Uncle Orrin, Aunt Barbara, Cleo, Miss Barnesdale, and myself all took whatever money we had and turned it into gold for that township. Then we gave it to great-grandfather Farlow, and he took it and hid it.
That was a lousy trick.
But you don't understand. We all asked him to hide it.
Well, hide your gold? What in the world for?
So we wouldn't find it, of course.
Maybe I'm the crazy one.
Don't sound just as stupid to me.
But what could be simpler? You see, when we first bought the gold, it was selling for a mere 35 cents an ounce. Nowadays, it's worth a small fortune.
A large fortune, Orrin. Gold is currently worth 20 times as much.
And great-grandfather didn't want any of us to come into temptation, so
Temptation to what?
To cash in our portion early.
He suspected the price of gold would rise and didn't want us to cash it in before it reached its utmost limit.
and if we found it, of course, then we would have before it did, and it wouldn't have had the chance to.
Oh, wait, I think I got it. Orrin's father hid the gold, then made up the limerick to tell where it was hidden, but only gave each of you one line so that none of you could get to it without the assistance of the other.
Good grief, so that's it.
Now do you see why I was so upset about losing my pigeon thingy?
Zambour, Orrin.
Wait, you mean the limerick line was in that thing?
Why, of course.
Of course, there's no of course about it.
Rosalind, great-grandfather had drawers full of those thingies after the last of the pigeons perished.
Wait, so he wrote the 5 limerick lines on those tiny little rolls of paper you put pigeon message on, stuffed them into the watsies and passed them out to all of you?
There, didn't I say it was simple?
No, you didn't.
I thought somebody did.
Father did.
That's where I heard it.
Please, let's get back to the point.
What point?
Those limerick lines. Orrin and Barnesy said they lost theirs, correct?
Not quite, young man.
So you still have yours?
Well, I didn't lose it. It was taken by force.
Oh, don't be such a pedant, Barnesy. He means you had it, but now you don't.
Wait, you don't have it? So that's to say that... Oh, that would make 3 now, since Cleo disappeared too.
Oh no! Dolly shan't get mine. I won't hear of such a thing.
Oh, please tell me you kept it in a safe place.
I did. I very cleverly had it attached to this charm bracelet.
What charm bracelet?
Oh no, it must be in my suitcase upstairs.
Oh, quick, everybody!
Where is everyone going? Why does no one tell me anything?
Excuse me, Lady Barbara, but have you seen Medkins?
Oh, Magnolia, have you seen Medkins?
Oh, damn it, blast. I said, have you seen Medkins?
Then where is he?
I just asked you that.
Well, will you please go and fetch him?
Lady Barbara!
Because I'd like a sherry, that's why.
Oh, why don't you get it yourself?
Oh, how very kind of you to offer.
Oh, very well. Might as well be talking to the walls, trying to make her understand anything.
Of course, it really is the duty of the butler to pour one sherry. But these are difficult times and one must make do. Oh, there's one already poured. Oh, look, there's one already poured, Felix, father.
Drink it, shut up.
Thank you, dear. Ah, what a peculiar color.
What's wrong with the color?
And such a peculiar odor.
Well, I wouldn't know. Never had sharing myself. And my wages are lucky to afford a pint of bitters.
Jitters. Yes, I suppose we all have them. The murder, you know, it tends to dampen one's party spirits. What was that noise?
You heard it too? Boy, it must have been loud.
Oh my, look at this mess. We must have Medkins clean it up at once.
I'll ring for a month.
Magnolia, what are you doing? That bell is never to be touched.
Wait, what was that noise?
What's going on down here?
What blood? Green blood.
Barbara, are you alright? What's going on?
She was just having a glass of sherry, and it was a gunshot, and she spilled her drink, but she wouldn't let me ring for Medkins, and...
Good heavens, you didn't use that bell pull, did you?
Wait, why shouldn't she?
Oh, Father's most strict about it. Had me shut up this entire wing after he died. Said I was to never open it until we were ready to dissolve the taunting.
But you have opened it. Does that mean...
Oh, my God!
So we were right, that does make 3.
Who are you talking
Now
about?
the killer is all but 2 of the clues to the missing whereabouts of the gold.
What are you talking about?
Magnolia, stay out of it.
You have no idea what we're talking about.
Why should I be any different? Magnolia, shut up! And they criticize my manners.
So we have to unravel this case, and all we know that the only clues is this taunting and those limerick rhymes. I don't suppose any of you know his or her line.
I'm an actress. Of course I memorized it.
Oh, thank heavens, how about the rest of you?
I believe I remember mine. It was a short one.
Mine was lengthy as limericks go, but I do have a good head for poetry.
Dora?
I'm afraid not. But it is in this charm bracelet. Shall I get it out?
Oh, yes, please, of course, and then we'll put it all
Hold
together.
on. What about Barbara?
Whatever is the matter? You're looking at me as if I'd hiccuped in church.
Well, maybe we have enough. Let's hear some of the letters. Ora?
Let me see. Mine was, to the best of my knowledge. They must look for a place.
Yes, and?
Well, that's it, old chap.
Are you certain?
Perhaps that makes sense on the other lines, Jeff.
Yes, Cleo.
Wants to pull out the gold sugar plums.
So far, it's gibberish.
Now hold on, let's give it a chance. Barnesy.
Miss Barnesdale, please.
Oh, come off it, Barnesy. Our very lives might be at stake.
Very well, very well. When a family that's truly old thumbs,
What about them?
that's all of it,
That's all of. Oh, wait! You mean your limerick line?
of course.
Well, you might have said so.
Can we please have it again?
When a family that's truly old thumbs, there, are you satisfied?
Dora?
Too bad we don't know the order of the lines.
Well, we do know that.
You do? How?
My father said he'd passed them out in order.
Wait, what is the order, Mr. Ledoux?
Let me see. It was Barnesy, Cleo, myself, Dora, then Barbara.
How can you be certain, dearest?
Why, you see, Father said he had done it that way so that we wouldn't forget. Don't you see? Something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue, then Barbara.
What? How dare you call me old?
Barnesy, you are the oldest of us. You are my governess, Cleo's governess, Dora's governess.
What's why was I something new?
Oh, well, you see, you had just gotten your first nose job.
Please, Aura, there's Chocolatina! Shut your mouth, you little gold digger.
Sticks and stones may break my bones.
Don't tempt me.
Ladies, let's cut the chit-chat until after the crime is solved.
Jeff's quite right. Let me finish. The something borrowed was my title of baronet, since it wasn't rightfully mine till Father kicked off, but I've been using it ever since he seemed to be on his deathbed.
Well, Mr. Ledoux, how you memorize the order bestows me, but...
Don't let him finish. I want to know why I was something blue. Was it my lovely blue eyes?
Well, no, my dear. You see, before you were born, your parents were so convinced that they were going to have a boy that they ordered all the clothes in the wrong color.
But when she was born, why didn't they make an exchange?
Rosalind, that's monstrous!
The clothing door, not of you.
Alright, let's just have it once more.
Just right. When a family that's truly old thumbs,
Wants to pull out the gold sugar plums.
They must look for a place.
Showing my smiling colon.
Yuck! That's absolutely disgusting.
and terrible rhyme.
Are you sure that's all of it?
Oh, I forgot to unroll this last little bit. Now it makes sense.
What does it say?
I can't tell you now. The rhythm will be spoiled.
Dora, for the love of heaven and
Jeff,
ever...
let's do it her way. It's always best to humor a nut.
Who are you calling a nut?
If the straight jacket fits.
All right. Let's take it from the top. Bonzi?
When a family that's truly old thumbs,
Wants to pull out the gold sugar plums.
They must look for a place.
Showing my smiling face. Colon.
Oh, make up your mind. Is it face or colon?
Face. Followed by a colon.
No use. She hasn't the foggiest notion what's going on. Perhaps we should write it all down for her.
Ooh, there's a hammer pencil in here someplace. Bottle of ink, stapler, ruler, rubber band, eraser.
I found Metkins. He came in just as I was sweeping up.
I didn't know he was lost.
Oh, Magnolia, have you found Medkins yet?
Yes, Mom, I have.
Wait, why were you looking for Medkins?
Because he disappeared so mysteriously, sir. What? When? When we were putting away the dinner dishes, Mum. He stepped into the pantry, and when I looked inside, he was gone.
But when exactly was that?
Just before the mysterious gunshot that made Lady Barbara spill a poisoned drink.
What? A drink was poisoned? How can you be certain?
Well, I didn't know, not at the time. But I recognized the color of the poison, a rather nasty shade of green.
Well, wait, when you did know, why didn't you tell any of us?
Well, I thought it was just some sort of sauce, sir.
Saucer? You've broken a saucer? Oh, I hope it wasn't the good china.
Shut up, Barbara.
Huh?
But Magnolia, you're not making sense. What does Medkins' disappearance have to do with the poison?
Well, when I went into the kitchen just now, he was just coming out of the pantry carrying a small bottle. Or perhaps a flask. No, it's too small for that.
Just
Maybe-
say container and get on with your story.
Yes, Mom, container. And it was filled with the green poison.
Look, you're still not making sense. So you say you saw a bottle and it was filled with green liquid, and you think it's the same liquid that was put into Barbara's drink. You still haven't explained how you know it's poison.
Well, as to that, it's the same sort of stuff he poured on all the horses' dubas.
That's hors d'oeuvres.
Sorry, sir.
So wait, you said the hors d'oeuvres were poisoned? How can you be certain?
I just ate one.
Good heavens!
She's dead! Murdered! It's horrible! Such an untidy gal!
Wait, right beside her, and that pile of plaster dust.
There, in the ceiling! Is that a bullet hole?
You don't suppose that gunshot we heard earlier?
Well, why would the killer fire a bullet into the ceiling?
Well, whatever it is, the clue to the mystery is right in that tiny pile of...
Damn it, blast.
Good servants are so hard to get!
Darling, are you sure I can't roast you a marshmallow?
How can you eat marshmallows at a time like this?
Would you rather she ran about the room shrieking?
Oh, don't give her any ideas.
Oren, how can you calmly help yourself to a glass of sherry after 2 attempts of poisoning?
Rosalind, I can see the color quite clearly. There is nothing wrong with it.
What if Medkins has switched to colorless poison?
Oh, damn.
I can barely keep my eyes open. I wish the police would get here soon.
Then why don't you take a nice nap, darling?
Because he might not wake up alive.
When my feet feel sudden death might be a blessing, these shoes were not built for all-night pacing.
Then go barefoot, Bonzi. Nobody would mind.
I would mind. If I must die, I shall do it with decorum.
Where are the police? It's nearly dawn. They should have been here hours ago.
Perhaps they missed their way in the dark.
Dora, I know this is a small village, but the police cars do have headlights.
Of course, the new police station is at the far end of the village.
But the village is scarcely a mile wide. They could have walked here by now.
It is old the more that I think of it. Did they give any indication of delay when you rang them up, Ulrich?
Now that you mention it, I didn't call them. I was too busy helping Jeffrey carry Barnaby's body upstairs. I asked Rosalind to do it.
But I didn't call them. I was too busy helping Cleo with my hysterics. I asked Dora to call them.
But I was too busy helping Magnolia clean up the glasses about the room.
So wait, you didn't phone the police?
No, Jeff. Would I overlook something as important as that?
Yes.
Well, I didn't, so there.
Didn't overlook it or didn't call them?
Didn't overlook it, of course.
Wait, so you did phone the police?
Well, no.
Then
Then
what?
I asked Medkins to do it.
Oh, go off, you dunce. Medkins is the murderer.
Well, I didn't know that at the time.
Well, wait, when you did know, why didn't you tell one of us?
Because we all found out at the same time, darling. There would have been no point.
Not that he's the murderer, you lunatic.
About smartphoning for the police.
But we can't be certain he didn't phone them.
Why not?
Because at the time, he still hadn't been exposed as a murderer, and calling the police would have been part of his cover-up.
Well, fine. I'll just call them myself. Now, hold on. That's funny. The phone's dead.
That's not the least bit funny.
I didn't mean that type of funny.
At least we have you here.
I'd rather we had the police.
Jeff's a police reporter. That's practically the same thing.
Nonsense, it's not even close.
Police arrest criminals. Reporters is right about that.
Well, at least he has a pistol.
Which reminds me, whoever did you get that pistol?
Well, these overstuffed drawers can hold anything a person could want.
Except a pen. Do you know that's reminded me of something?
First time for everything.
Rosalind, there's no need to be rude.
Dora isn't totally stupid.
She need ask the murder to fetch the police.
Rob and Cleo for leaving so soon.
Can't be soon enough for me. I'm not sticking around to be the next victim. Well, you shouldn't carry your own beds. You should ask a servant to do it.
Which one? The murder or the corpse?
Say, that reminds me. Whatever happened to Magnolia's body?
What? She's gone. I could have sworn I saw a corpse lying there.
That was me!
That was I.
They're both corpses?
Say, that reminds me. Shouldn't they be facing the other way?
Now that you mention it, they do seem to be a bit backwards.
Well, they wouldn't stick out like a sore thumb in this group.
Wait, you can't go.
Why not?
Well, we need your Bentley.
What for?
Go fetch the police.
You mean they won't come unless you drive them? Cleo, you don't understand. Don't belittle Dora. I didn't call them at all.
But I asked Medkins to do it.
Medkins? She's not dopey. She's demented. I'm getting out of here.
Could you at least stop by the police station on your way?
Listen, honey. When I walk those doors, I am putting my foot down on the accelerator and keeping it there until I'm safe in my own bed. Wouldn't you know she had a drive-in bedroom? I've had just about enough out of you. Come on, put 'em up! Put 'em up!
Wait, no, hold on.
I'm holding, darling.
How dare you call him that?
I'm a movie star. I call everybody darling. Oh, but back in the drive-in bedroom again. At least I don't have to marry for money.
Oh, don't talk rot, Cleo. Why, Rosalind said she'd have me even if I were penniless.
I'm shocked, maybe.
Ladies, please, back to the case.
The mystery is already solved, Jeff. The butler did it.
Oh, but he's not really a butler.
Well, he can't be a maid.
Wait, what have you just thought of, Miss Barnsdale?
This. Well,
Why are you so insistent on being called a miss?
well, she has a point. You may call me Barnsey.
All right, Barnsey. So, what I was about to ask you is... Wait, what were your true stories?
True stories for what?
Behind the reasoning before where Barnaby was stabbed. That true story.
Look, can you just mail me the solution to the crime? My Bentley is about to flee, and I'd like to be in it when it does.
There's a fairly good reason why you can't leave just yet.
Why not?
Because never mind that. I have some more investigating to do. I know, however, that when Barnaby was stabbed, he said there were 2 imposters, and we know Medkins was one of them.
And I might be the other?
Well, anybody might be.
Except me, of course.
Well, as to that...
What? You suspect your fiancé?
It's just that there was some very shaky statements made tonight, and I'm afraid you made one of them.
Now, this might be worth sticking around for after all. I'd like very much to hear what she said.
So would I.
Alright, it's just that when Barnaby wrote B-A-R over there, you immediately thought it was Rosalind Barstow, saying that you never trusted her.
Well, I like that.
Oh, I'm so glad you're not upset. But why shouldn't I have said that?
Because, darling, from what I gather, you haven't even met her until tonight.
Aha!
Well, on the other hand, Miss LeDuc, you say that you and Miss Barstow were in the not in the wine cellar, sorry, taking a stroll after dinner, but you weren't.
Aha!
And you claimed to dawdle over dinner.
Aha!
And you claimed to be in the wine cellar.
Aha! Lord Haversham put the clover in the punch bowl. I knew it all the time.
And finally, we have Lady Barbara, supposed nap.
Well, we can hardly ask her about it now.
Oh, yes, we can. I'm going over there to write every last thing down for her to see. We are going to get to the bottom of things.
Thank you, Cleo. I appreciate the favor.
Why, Jeff, darling, I have things I haven't even used yet.
Now that is funny.
All right. Now back to what I was saying. What are the true stories?
Well, earlier, I said I didn't trust Rosalind before I met her because of what Aunt Barbara wrote at me in our letters.
And Rosalind and I went in the garden taking a walk.
Because we're on the terrace overhang, smooching.
And I have the dining table to go to the bathroom. Heather's too shy to tell anyone.
And I was in the cellar because I thought I was taking the passageway back here, but was too embarrassed to admit that I don't see very well. I went upstairs to take my corset off because it was killing me. I was too much of a lady to admit it.
Doesn't come for everything, doesn't it?
Which friends, Jeff? Who doesn't think that require explanation?
Such as,
Why was the bullet fired into the ceiling? Why did Medkits poison your germs when he hadn't yet learned Lady Barbara's line in the limerick? Why did Owen invite us all here in the first place? How can Barbara's last name be Fenwick if she's the widow of Mr. Duke's brother? How can Barnaby's name be Fulsey if he's the son of Ormond's only brother? And if he is, doesn't it make him Barbara's son too? And finally, what was the fascinating notion that popped into Barnsley's head just before she vanished?
How many puzzles does that make us?
I make that 7.
No, Orin, there were 7 questions. You make an 8.
Oh, damn it, Dora, I'm not a puzzle.
Only as regards to his taste in women.
oh, you listen, you middle-aged man.
First, let's solve the murder, then you two can kill one another.
All right. Let's take things in order. Why was the bullet shot to the ceiling?
To startle Barbara into spilling her poisoned drink, of course, because the killer wanted her alive to learn her limerick line.
Yes, but why did he poison the hors d'oeuvres?
Oh, yes. Hors d'oeuvres are all ham, anchovies, and caviar. And I am on a salt-free diet.
That makes sense to me.
Not to me. So what else is new?
Now, Mr. Ledoux, why did you invite us all here?
My reasons are entirely selfish. Times are hard, taxes are up, and this blasted taunting was the only possible source of money for me.
So that's why you needed the other 4 lines.
That makes sense.
Not to me. No comment.
Anyways, why is Lady Barbara surname Fenwick if she was married to a Ledoux?
He was my first husband. My second husband was a Fenwick.
Yes, but why was Barnaby's surname Fulsey?
He was from my late husband's first marriage. He married a Fulsey girl, and she insisted that the child be surnamed after her.
Wait, and the husband agreed?
She never told him.
Oh, how marvelously simple.
Yes, you are.
Finally, what was the fascinating notion that popped in your head right before you disappeared?
Well, it had to do with Barbara. With her acting classes. No, it went right out of my head when I was grabbed and robbed of my Zambour. Perhaps I'll think of it later.
Well, if that takes care of all the mysteries, I'll just be hitting the road.
Wait, there's just one more minor mystery. What's become of Magnolia's body?
That's right. It was right over there, propped against that chair, and I know none of us was near it, so we couldn't have room for it.
Well, as to that, you see, the chair is on some sort of turntable. It swivels about into the wall if you press just the right spot on the arm of the chair.
Orin, why didn't you tell us before?
I didn't know about it until it happened to me.
Wait, you vanished yourself? I mean, the killer didn't do it.
How could he have? Medkins was in the room the whole time.
I don't believe it.
That Medkins was in the room?
That you made a sensible statement.
Wait, so when you did disappear, what happened next?
Well, it's all a bit hazy, but I was in some sort of dark tunnel, and I was trying to find a way out, when somebody popped me over the back of the head, tied me up, and popped me out back into here.
Oh, so I know what I need to do. I must figure out how this works so I can go and find Medkins.
But what if he's not in there?
Then Jeff will come right back here, won't you, darling?
Yeah, only I can get this to work. Oh, I feel the mechanisms turning. Oops.
There ought to be a body here.
You make a lousy interior decorator.
Hey, I just thought, Jem has her only weapon, and Medkit should come back here right now!
I'll call the police!
Stop, keep my guns for the killer!
And I'll run for help.
Hello?
Hold it! All of you. Maybe I'd better drive to the police station after all. It's our only hope.
I better come with you. You don't know the location of the new police station.
Aren't you afraid we'll tear each other's hair out?
It beats getting stabbed.
You've got something there.
It's so good to be home. Nothing this exciting ever happens in Delaware.
Wait, that's it. That's something I forgot when I got grabbed.
How dull it is in Delaware?
No, Barnaby, I mean. He was supposed to have lived all these years in America, yet he didn't know his capital was Dover.
And he didn't know his nickname was Wordsy either, come to think of it.
And just before he died, he told you there were 2 imposters at this party.
You don't mean?
He was one of them.
And Medkins was the other?
It has to be it.
That's a wonderful idea. I have to tell Jeff at once. How do you work this thing? I've got it. What is this? You're not Jeff.
Who is it?
Oh, it's just Medkins.
Medkins!
Oh, thank you. Why don't you have your full glass of sherry?
Why, it is Medkins!
I think not, Lady Barbara.
Huh?
All of you, over here and sit down, and keep your hands where I can see them.
Then how about some gin?
Now listen here, old spoof. One more peep out of you, and I will.
Wordsy!
I don't know what you're talking about.
I recognize those words anywhere. You're not Medkins, you're Cousin Barnaby.
So that's it. The answer to the puzzle. We never could figure out why anyone would bump off Barnaby, and now we knew. Nobody did.
But then who's that other chap who got murdered?
And after I hired him to pose as me for the duration of the party, and he discovered my motives, well, I had to kill him. Simple as that.
But why? What was the reason?
Well, I planned on murdering you all so I could get the money, from the tontine. But there was no money for me to inherit, and so I need to keep all of you alive until the 5 liver grinds were assembled.
But I say, I've just thought of something. The 2 imposters that Barnaby, that is, the actor you hired to play as Barnaby, the 2 imposters he tried to mention were you and himself.
And then he was trying, when they asked him to write the name of the killer, and he wrote the letters B-A-R.
Musically spelling out Barnaby.
Barnaby! We didn't even think he was writing his own name.
Even if we finished it, we'd be more confused than ever.
Except Dora, I'm afraid. I'm afraid she's reached her limit.
Lauren, this is no time for compliments.
Oh, never mind that. What's important now is, what exactly do you plan to do with us, Barnaby?
Why, get the last line to the limit, kill all of you, collect gold and live happily ever after.
You won't get away with it. Soon Jeff will come back here and...
Dora, everybody, I've solved the case. Barnaby's the killer.
Did he hurt you?
Oh, now, here now, keep away from him.
Oh, don't be such a grouch, Barnaby. What's the use in worrying whether he's tied up or not if you plan to shoot him anyway?
Well, if you put it that way, then... Hey, where are Cleveland Walsland?
Oh, they've gone to fetch the police.
What?
Don't worry. You have plenty of time to kill us all and make your getaway before they come back here.
Dora,
Oh, it's true, darling.
you shouldn't have told them where they've gone.
He would have realized as soon as he noticed the Bentley was gone.
The Bentley? That's a relief.
Oh, you wicked man, what have you done?
Give me some grace. The first turn they come to, they'll plunge into the depths of the sea.
That was very naughty of
If you
you.
care to put that mildly.
Oh, what shall we do? We're doomed. Doomed.
I've got it. Let's stall for time. Lovely weather we're having. For England.
Dora, be a good girl and return to your seat.
So you're the killer, Barnaby. How terribly devious of you. But must you really kill us all?
Dora, you shouldn't tell them things like that.
I'm stalling for time. Maybe you should try.
Well, even Cleo and Rosalind did go fetch the police, but their brakes are gimmicks, so they can't.
But the police might stop by.
Dora, you're a total nincompoop.
Stick it in your ear.
Dora, where did you learn such language?
From Grandfather Farlow, of course.
Oh, and he talks like that to everyone who annoyed him.
I'll never forget the day we got our limerick lines.
Nor shall I.
He was absolutely furious at Barbara.
Who can blame the man? She was a little nervous wreck, clutching her zambour and continually piping, "Where shall I hide it? Where shall I hide it?" Till we were all ready to scream.
It's no wonder he told her to stick it in her ear.
Stick it in her ear!
Oh, that's it.
It must be
It's
it.
got to be it.
It's certainly it.
You mean she actually stuck it in her ear? That's crazy.
In this family, who would have known?
Oh, wait. How long has Lady Barbara been hard of hearing?
Why, since the day Father died.
You don't suppose...
And here we all thought it was from the shock of his death.
What shock? He was nearly 97 years old.
Still, it was probably a shock to him.
Oh, Cleo, Rosa, thank heavens you're alive.
But the brakes, I gimmicked them.
Not well enough, apparently.
Oh, he did a dandy job.
Then how did you stop?
We ran smack into Bonzi's cottage.
Before you hit highway speed, how lucky of you.
Where did the car stop in my rock under my peony bush?
Your living room.
Oh no, I just had the carpet clean.
But why did you come back here?
Metcalfe's plans to kill us all. I mean, Barnaby.
But Barnaby was killed.
Not quite. For you see, I am Barnaby.
You are? Then who was murdered?
I'm not going to explain all that again.
We'll explain it after the killer is captured.
Oh, Dora, my dear. Shut up! Now, all three of you, over here I can see. And now, Lady Barbara, will you be so kind as to lend me your ear?
What? Oh no, what are you doing? Stop that!
I'm figuring out the last line to the limerick, that's what. Aha! So that's it.
You know the location of the gold?
Not quite.
Well, why not?
Because I've forgotten the first four lines.
Oh, goody. Let's not tell him.
But you got through all the other samples.
Not mine, he hasn't. Hadn't.
Let's save time, shall we? All of you aside your poems.
After the crude way you yanked that off my wrist,
Oh, Tora, that's no way. That's nothing compared to the blue way. I'll shoot you in the butt!
Better not argue with them.
who's arguing? I'm not arguing. My line is...
Stop! In order, please.
When a family that's truly old thoughts.
Who wants to pull out the gold sugar plums?
They must look for a place.
Showing my smiling face, colon.
When he tug on the cord, down it comes.
What face?
What cord? Oh! I've heard him! I can hear! I return to the wonderful world of sound!
Then listen here, Lady Barbara. Sit down or I'll plug you.
So come back.
Now, would anyone care to explain what that cryptic message meant?
I know! The smiling face is a picture of Grandfather Barlow, and the cord is his unused bell pull.
Of all times, regain the use of her brain.
Of course. The picture frame is actually made of gold.
Imagine.
All this time.
It's been right over our very noses. Barnaby, before you kill us all, may I ask Barbara one question?
Oh, very well, but hurry it up.
Barbara, when you first met the false Barnaby, I was wondering if I saw through his deception. Of course I did. Orrin, I tried to tell you that I remembered studying with him in Miss Michael's amateur theatrical class, didn't I?
I must admit, she did.
It was that nice Mr. Tate Lawson, and I told you that too. Which reminds me, there'll be an opening in the class.
Stop! Sit down. Now, it's nothing personal, really, but I must kill all of you.
But why? Why have you done all this?
You don't know what it's like to be the only popular in a wealthy family. I've had to scrounge for the bit of money I could get from each of you. It was driving me mad. And then, when I learned that Orrin was canceling the tone team, with gold now selling for hundreds of dollars an ounce, I've made up my mind. I would not go flat broke again. And now, everyone, cover your eyes.
Just one moment. You asked us before why we came back. There's a very good reason.
And why is that?
We were stalling for time.
Yeah, I told
kill us.
And why not?
Because the police are on their way. After all, we were in Bonzi's living room anyway, so I thought, why not use her phone?
Blast! Then I don't have much time. Quick, door, pull that cord.
Wait, but Barney...
Shut up, you! In a moment, I'll have over £1 million.
Nonsense. It can't be more than a couple thousand.
Wait,
Dora!
Jeff, where are you?
Oh. What's this guy? Quick, help! Let me get this off of him. Oh.
Looks like we've left it flat again.
Oh, finally, this long night of terror is finally over, and soon the sun will rise. There, what did I tell you? Well, oh, darling things, you saved us all.
But I'm the one that pulled that cord to flatten him.
Yes, but Cleo was the one who phoned the police that startled him.
Oh, Jeff, does this mean you and I are together? Forever?
Why not?
Oh, gee, it's just like one of my movies. Oh, Jeff, I love you so.
I love him too.
But I'm very rich now.
I